Hey, welcome back everybody. Welcome back to my channel. News Jester. My name is Junior. Today we're going to take a look at Hot Toys' Batman from the movie The Flash. I bought this as a pre-order, $318 in total. That's shipping and taxes already built in. So this is a slip cover box or shoe box. So I just open it up like that and you just flip it open. And you have the Batman like this. Then now you open this up. And slide like this. That's basically what you have. Behind here is the secondary cape, the one that opens up. There's a tray of accessories. And this is how they usually do their standard packaging. And let me go ahead and take it all out of the box and we'll take a look really quick. Alright, so Hot Toys really is a different beast altogether when you're getting into collection. This is not one of those cheap 6-inch figures. It's an actual very expensive product, so they do their best to make it as close to high-end collectible as they can. We'll do a close-up on the head really quick. Here's the portrait of Bruce Wayne that comes with it. It looks like an older Michael Keaton, to be honest. It's really got some interesting texture going on. I feel that this is overly textured. You can really see a lot of the wrinkling going on, but a lot of good work. And it's not just painted on. You can actually feel the ridges of the wrinkles. It's just that I've always said that if this was blown up in 1-to-1 scale, these wrinklings would be deep cuts. You don't see this type of wrinkling in a 1-to-1 scale figure. It's funny, they put in Hot Toys here. This is not meant to be shown like this up close, to be honest. This is meant to be seen from far away, because then from far away the wrinkling is not so noticeable and you still have the aged look. If you start looking at this macro like that, all that wrinkling distracts from the sculpt of the figure. And as for articulation, let's go ahead and see. So there's a ball joint here underneath it, the neck, so it gives you a whole lot of range. And there's no exposure to the joints, so that's pretty good. Yeah. And this is hard plastic. Here's the emblem over there. This is not a hard plastic, but it's definitely plastic. So that's pretty good too. This body type, I'm not sure what it's made of. I'm suspecting it's pleather, and that's really, really scary, because eventually it's going to degrade and crack. So articulation, there's no ratchet on the shoulder. It's a bit of a resistance that's going on. And there's stitching underneath here. There's going to be resistance there too. It's kind of disappointing. That's about the range that you can go. There's a lot more resistance on this side than on that side. And looks like it's velcroed into the shoulder over there. And for the elbow articulation, Now that's ratcheted, so that's good. They should have had ratchets on the joints, because you're going to have that much resistance. And there might be, yeah, it's very, very soft. There is an actual ratchet underneath there. It's very, very soft. At least you have a good range over here on the shoulder, on the elbow. And there is a bicep rotation on there as well. Be mindful, because the cloth is going to give you, the fabric is going to give you a lot of resistance on these hot toys. Rotation on the wrist. And it's in a ball joint, so just need to find where the articulation is to be able to twist it side to side or up and down. This is a plastic as well. I really don't expect much in the torso, so let's see what's going on in the torso. Is there a waist twist? There is. It's very stiff. This is me pushing it really hard. That's basically it that you can go. As you can see, it's going to start slowly going back to the original position. And there's padding in here on the body. And I know the construction of the body. There should be a joint here, but of course, nothing's going to move over there. As for the leg articulation, this is the kind of ratchet that should have been on all the joints, major joints, on the shoulder and on the elbow. Maybe not necessarily here on the torso. I would have loved to have seen this on the torso, but so this is the same fabric basically that's going on throughout the body, but because of the strength of the ratcheting system over here, look at how much it's able to hold that pose. That's almost a whole 90 degrees. This is the disappointing part of what's going on with Hot Toys. The inconsistencies of the design of the body. There is no ratchets on the knees, but that's fine because it's able to hold the pose. I don't know why it's able to do that with the knees and not in the necessarily the elbow. I think because of the design of the stitching, is just all the stitching over here is just fighting the elbow, the shoulder articulation. This is hard plastic again. As you can see, the design of the boots, it's cut over here, so you can have a lot of range on the ankle. A lot of range. Be careful, because then you're cutting the split over here of the design. But yeah, that's pretty good. Here's the back. Yes, this is ugly, but that's how they basically sew it on, so it's really tight. There must be a better design for the sewing pattern. Yeah. One good thing is that you can put the arms to the side by that much. I like the advancement on how they're able to do all these different line work on the uniform. And here's the cloth part, or the cape. There's a wire here at the ribbed part of the cape. Kind of like a thin wire. This needs a lot of futzing to pose. Alright, let's look at the details. So here's the accessory packet. As you can see, it's got a bunch of stuff in there. This is for the eye. This is a tool for the eye. This is the, I guess, bat remote control communicator, the bat wing, there's a batarangs here. Then here's one with a rope, and it's just a rope, it's not wired or anything. Maybe a detonator. The grappling bat hook, 2 shurikens. This one, I don't know what this one is. Just says, oh, level 11. So I'm assuming this I think this is the detonator. I think this one you put in his gauntlet. And there's these two handheld devices. I don't know what this one is for. These are the extra hands that comes with it. This is a nice difference in tone of paint. The inside lining is more of a dull. The one that's depicting armor is a lot more shinier. It's for holding something. Relaxed hands. And maybe for the gun. The set comes with this secondary cowl, which doesn't have anything on the inside. This is a good display option to have when you have the Bruce Wayne head on the figure. Here's the Batman with a slight smirk on him, which is almost scary because you really don't expect Batman to smile unless it's for a very, very bad reason. Notice this is kind of bent up. This spine is really, really thin, and it's not really able to hold the shape, and the material is soft enough that it's just bending. It does come with these two interchangeable mount plates, the more neutral one and one that's slightly open. It's funny the way they constructed this. That is weird. This is almost like in one piece. I don't think this is meant to be removable. And then look at how flat the underside of that cowl is. They should have... It's too flat. There's no breathing holes. So when you look, it's detracting. So here's the base that comes with a figure. Very nice detail. Nice bat symbol. It's a shame it's not lighted. Because I feel like if this had been a strong light going up to the figure, I think that would have been cool. But I think I knew going in that it was not going to be lighted. This is probably the only part of the figure that I'm not disappointed in. Yeah. So this is the actual secondary cape. As you can see, it's got a bit of a mechanism going on over here. So that basically just opens up. Again, there's no ratchet system to this one. This is just very loose. And it's kind of like a peg and hole system. So eventually, hopefully, you hope that this doesn't get too loose, because so that there's no resistance, because then otherwise this will be just completely useless. Notice how this thing turns. That's the actual peg going on over there. This plastic is very thin, so be very careful you don't snap it here. So I think how this goes is just remove the head, pop it off, remove the chest plate. I'm also leery about that because I don't want these to eventually come off the stitching. Here's the chest plate. So basically it went from here to here, and this Velcro attaches to that Velcro. So I think the best way to do that remove the back armor, replace it with the back armor on this one, somewhat stretch this in, and then I think best way is just open it slightly. That is very, very awkward. So slip this in here. Look at that. That's crazy. Do that. Then you need to attach the back first. No, because basically I think you can do that, and then you put in these two pegals in here, and that should align with the Velcro. Then push this in, and hopefully everything goes in the way it's supposed to. That's crazy. This requires a wire, because then you have this thing going on like that, which is ugly. And then they do this. The fabric does not go all the way here on the inside, so you can tell the difference in fabric. How are you supposed to display this? Because I mean, if I was displaying it, I would basically have it with the Batman cowl, somewhat like this. So you can't even put the arms like so. Wow, that's disappointing. It's almost as if this is designed so that you're seeing it from this. But why would you do it like that? All you're seeing is the fabric behind. I didn't really think about this when I ordered it. I just thought the idea of it was really cool. So Hot Toys really did a really bad marketing gimmick, almost like a misleading gimmick, photography wise. See, in the promotional pictures, this and this is, you don't see this. Actually, you can tell that this is supposed to be the same material because of the sheen of this is completely different than this one when you're looking at the promotional pictures. Also, on the pictures, you don't see this seamed edges. So on the photographs, what you see is this on the edges. You don't see this. And then also, the way they shot it like this in an angle, so it seems like you're able to lift the shoulder higher than you can. I thought in the promotional pictures you almost see this higher, like this, but see, you can only by really forcing it, and then you don't see this part bow out. This is really quite disappointing. Oh my god, this is just very lazy, very lazy. It's almost like, this is almost like an actual complaint that this has to be like a quality control issue. Like, they can't all be this bad. Almost not exactly the same. All right, so final thoughts on the Hot Toys, the Batman modern suit from the Flash movie. So, as you can see, I'm not a stranger to Batman Hot Toys. I know what to expect from these figures. I've had disappointments. I've had some good ones. This is the 1989 original Batman Hot Toys, which unfortunately is beginning to degrade after all these many years. I don't even pose this cape, but it's just on its own starting to degrade. This is the Val Kilmer Batman, right? So what was I? This figure has been very disappointing. I'm not even energized to complete the review, but I just want to. Why is it such a disappointment? Let me tell you what my expectations were first. I expected this head sculpt. I loved it. And the reason why I got it is not to display it on the Batman, but to create my own Michael Keaton. I don't even have a Michael Keaton in the Batman era at all. I don't have any of his sculpts. So this is my first one. And I'm planning on displaying it as an old man Bruce Wayne. I kind of like that. I think this is the strongest sculpt of Michael Keaton that they've done, that anybody's done so far. The younger one just doesn't capture it for me. This one does. Maybe because of the wrinkles, maybe because of the aged features of his face. I think it's well done. But like I said before, this is not to be seen in a macro because the wrinkles, when you're looking at it at a macro or looking at it up close, it emphasizes the wrinkles, and that's not the way it should be. when it's 1-to-1 scale. However, if you're looking at it from like 2 feet away, you can tell it's an old man. You can even still see the wrinkles at 2 feet away. That's how, that's why it's nice to look at when it's far away, but you don't really want to examine it too closely because it doesn't make sense. So this is exactly as I expected it. I don't have any problems with that one. This, I expected this. The various accessories, I expected that. I expected this suit to be like this. I expected that it might be made out of pleather and that eventually it will degrade. I have no um, uh, great expectations on that one. So when I purchased this, I knew this was coming. I wanted this cape because it's a unique feature in any of the Batmans at all. Um, I want to display it like this somehow. I'll figure it out. So why is this such a big disappointment? For one thing, if you look at all the promo shots of Hot Toys, they'll have, I think I've only seen one promo shot of this one, and his arm is like this. I was able to kind of copy what they did it with the arms. They kind of fudged the photography by having the shot on this angle going this way, so it looks like this was a little bit higher. It's not possible. Even they weren't able to do it. This part of the video is shot an hour after my whole closing thing, and I wanted to show this because I've fudged with it some more. And this is using the secondary cape, the one that doesn't have the mechanism, right? So why not just add, why even go to this part? For one thing, okay, look at how they did the stitching here with the wire. It's not as bad as how they did it with this one. And this is wire too. I don't understand why they couldn't do the same kind of stitching that they did here to this one. This looks a whole lot better than having the two discrepancies on this fabric. This is a whole lot better, more cohesive, not as jarring, and then you don't have this exposed seam line, which made it bad. The other thing too is, like, if they had just made this wire stronger, look, this is already on its own, and this is a very weak wire too. On its own, it's almost able to hold that same pose. It just doesn't have this part right here, which you could have probably have gotten the same result if you had put in a stronger bendable wire to this part. Why didn't they do that? It doesn't make sense. All right, I apologize for the insert of this part of the video and the jarring shift of perspective. This is a day after I shot the initial review. I did get this tip from a YouTuber called Mrcollectionventures. I like him. Very, very clear photographs of everything, and pushes the limit of the movement and everything. What I'm about to do, take it with a grain of salt. Be very, very careful if you want to do this. But this is how you do the outstretched wing part. So you want to move this forward, and the ratchet on the forward part is stronger than the one going outwards. So as you can see, I'm already at parallel. You've already got 90 degrees movement on this one, and on this side it's a little bit harder to do. There's a lot more resistance on this one, but parallel. Now you want to move your arms outward. Just be very careful when you're doing this and you're pushing it. The other thing too, the reason why I said be very, very careful, now you are very much stretching the stitching on this part of the fabric. And on his copy, I think it happened before he got it. You'll also see a lot of stretching here. His split over here, but I think it was a factory split already. Now, in previous times, what I would have done was twist the fabric slowly so that I don't get this much of a stress. but this fabric is so tight against the body that you can't do it. But as you can see now, that's how you do a T-pose. Now, what I've learned also from his video is there's actually a ratchet joint movement and forward on the abdomen area. It's just the teeth are so wide you really don't see it. So you have to push it back. See? And it's actually clicking on. I think there's one or two, but you can now have this pose for a jumping jumping look or a flight look. So that's how you do the T-pose for your Batman if you want to do the outstretched wings. I think if I were to do it on the side, it goes only up to here and then you bend it. But yeah, that's a lot of stress. It still kind of looks good. But damn, man, that is a lot of stress. Like, these wrinkles weren't there before when I started doing this. And honestly, I don't know how long your figure's fabric will last if you keep doing this. Just to let you know. Anyway, back to the original review. But the biggest disappointment is the lie that they created when they shot this, because you can see how this thing is shiny and you can immediately tell this is a different material, right? So even though the material is made out of pleather, it didn't really matter to me, because in the promo shot it looked like this whole backside is this material. So what does that mean? That means you don't see this seam line of the sewing line, right? You don't see that. What you see is this. See how the spine is, where you basically see the spine of the wire? That's the way it's shown on the photographs. It doesn't do that. So that's very, very misleading and an outright lie. They touted this as an advanced ratcheting system so that it's able to hold a pose. If there is ratchets here, I can barely tell. I think I was able to tell maybe very, very, very soft ratchets, almost non-existent. Something in the elbows good and all that stuff. Again, the photograph where they shot it from the top, it's kind of misleading. I should have known because they only had one shot of the whole thing. And then this one not being able to go up. The way they designed the suit, come on, you should be able by now to figure out how to design the suit so you don't have this problem where the design of the suit is restricting this arm from going up, because the mechanism is there, guys. It's just, you just can't move it because the suit is so restrictive. But I'm expecting, look at this guy. I hate this thing because it's basically a rubber statue. You can't move anything on it. You can, but you'll distort the sculpt so much. But I was okay with that how many ever years ago this was, but the ratcheting system of this one was bad, really bad. Like in some of the videos I've seen, they say that there's a ratchet system here, but mine is again so loose and so weak, I really can't do much about it. What surprises me is I've gone through all my usual reviewers that I check, that I like to watch, and it amazes me that no one talks about this. This is a big, big disappointment, because the whole reason why I got this was to display it in this manner. And you can't, because this is just too ugly. And it's just not the way it was shown. So that basically, I don't know. I don't know if I could just accept that and display it like that. So in the end, I'm going to have to go ahead and display it with a regular cape like this. So he's supposed to be my ultimate Michael Keaton Batman, more so than this one, because he's older and I really like the way he ended. But yeah, and also with this fabric clothing, you see, look at the crotch area compared to this one, because this is sculpted and I can understand, but this really looks like there's nothing in there. Like there has to be again a different design to do this so it doesn't look that ugly. But like for example, this one, you can't tell the difference between hard plastic and the actual fabric. Why couldn't you do something like that as a cod piece over here, just to shape it but you know, maybe it'll destroy the fabric more or make it deteriorate faster. Maybe that's why I didn't do it, but it's just so ugly looking at that. There's just no definition at all in that one. Um, this is, what was it? 325 or 320 dollars. And I'm like, I'm so disappointed because I have a few more final Hot Toys pieces that I've pre-ordered. I pre-ordered the Hono Toys Iron Man that's fully rubberized. I This is the only Michael Keaton Batman that I had, and I passed on the 1992 Batman Returns suit because it came as a two-pack. However, it's been being offered again, so I went ahead and purchased that. So I'll finally have the three versions of Batman, which Batman by Michael Keaton, which is why I wanted that. So maybe I don't know. This it just bums me out. Like all these years, and Hot Toys just really likes to sit on their past achievements and no longer go and push things forward when they used to do that. Now it's just like, let's put out the next one and be done with it. That's the way it feels like it for me. But this is good too. This is exactly what I expected. This little design over here. Um, Everything else, it's just this one major feature which I really was really counting on. It was just done so horribly that it just completely devalues it for me. So what's the value that I would assign on this one? Base price of 10 equaling to $320, which I thought at the time was a good deal because of all these options with the headpieces. This is not even a value of 10. Because this thing disappointed me so much, and because they still have not fixed this right here. How can this one, which does not have a ratchet, this knee, able to hold the pose, right? Because of the stitching design. There's no resistance at all. Or maybe because this is not a two-ply fabric underneath where they put on the pleather. And this is basically going by the weave that stretches the most. Maybe that's why. I don't know. I'm not a fabric master. I don't know anything about sewing and everything like that. But there's so much resistance in this one. It's not giving any give, that it's just not letting that ratchet move. And to be honest, if you're going to be doing, I mean, thinking about it, right? If you're going to be messing around with such a restrictive fabric, you want your joints here and here to be the strongest. Notice in my review that when the strong ratchets here on the hip joint area is able to bypass the resistance of the fabric. And that's the kind of strength of ratchet that they should have designed on the shoulder. The shoulder, man, it's just, I wanted the shoulder to at least go this way and then have the bend of the elbow so it goes like that. But you can't do that. So disappointing. So disappointing. So again, going back, what's the value? I'm like, I don't recommend it. I really don't. If you're, okay, let me amend that. I don't recommend getting this if you're thinking of posing the Batman in this manner using the glider cape, because the only good way to shoot this is from the back. And why would you display the Batman from the back and all you're seeing is the silhouette of that? The other way is to shoot it from here, so you don't see this at all. So if you're getting this piece for the glider pose, I don't recommend it, because you're going to be sorely disappointed by the lie that they promoted by hiding this part right here, by messing around with it. The other thing too, you'll notice they didn't even bother to glue this together. So it's just like one, you'll see like you'll see that. In where's the other one that they have? I think it was this one, right? Look at this cloth. At first when I got this, I thought it was a two-ply and you can kind of fix it like this. See, and I was trying to put that together, but you can't. It's all glued down. It's glued down here at the seams, right? So it's really hard. But here, look at how they did the exact same thing. They stopped here at the edge, but at least with this one, you're not spreading it like that. You're letting it fall down like so. So you don't see that much of the difference. Here, this is designed to be spread out. Again, so this whole thing, the way they promoted it, is gonna devalue it for me. I'm gonna say like a 7. So I'm not. It's not a recommend for me now. The choice now, so that I don't have to see this again, is just to go back to the regular cape and display them like that. This is a good. This is good. Accessories are good. The material, the fabric is as expected. The 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 joints movement here is good. The range of the elbow is good. The shoulder kills it. I expected the lack of movement on the torso. I expected the lack of movement on the head, and the movement on the ankles are good. But torso kills it. The false promotion on the glider cape kills it. So I'll give it an 8. I'll bump it up to 8. It's because like a one. No, I'll stick with 7. This is such a big disappointment for me. So value of 7, base price of 10 equaling to 320. I don't recommend it. I would only recommend it if you never even thought of getting this glider piece. In which case, why are we paying the extra money for this? Because the 320 adds to that, right? Why would you even purchase this option if you're not going to display it like this? Anyway, that's it for my review of the Hot Toys, the Batman modern suit from the Flash movie. Um, Extremely disappointed with this type of practice. So I still have the Batman from BVS 2.0 because I want to display. I want to have 2 of those. I still have the Batman Return suit to come in. So from this kind of an expectation, it's gonna go downhill. So maybe that'll be good for the figure, and then the Iron Man Hono, and I think that's pretty much it. I think that's it. And this is me saying that's it for me for Hot Toys. The Hot Toys, you've seen me review my Hot Toys Star Wars that I've gotten, and they've been high value for me because the price that I've gotten them is so low, 100, 120, 150, compared to this, that it just jacks up the price immediately. I mean, it just jacks up the value immediately. So for this one, because it's a high price, what I'm expecting, what I didn't get, and what I was lied about, that just like, it's a big ding, you know. Everything else was expected, maybe even the failure of the joints. This one's a blatant lie. So instead of subtracting just 1 point, I gave him 2 less points, because you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't show it for what it is and be a man about it. And then, yeah. Anyway, that's it for my review of the Hot Toys, the Batman modern suit from the Flash movie. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you guys again soon. Bye.